Hey guys, wanted to get on here and leave some thoughts driving down the road, so forgive me for my failure to make eye contact. I think I might start doing this using my YouTube channel to put some political thoughts out there. Not that it's any better than Facebook, but Facebook's gotten really, they cut me off again for 30 days, and I don't know, it'd be nice to get on some social media that's not moving towards censorship I'm getting censored for words. I called some dude a hyperbolic bitch. I can't say hyperbolic bitch. That's unfortunate because he was being a hyperbolic bitch about Trump, but I digress. So the election, it's Friday before the election, so I guess it's the 30th. Trump v. Biden 2020, November 3rd. It'll be an interesting day, probably a month or sometime before that, but it's probably not going to be a day. That seems to be the new common, which is really odd, right? Like, when did we start, how did we start becoming worse at counting elections? And maybe they always were just kind of scammy with the way they did it before and just counted small percentage of it, and now, so I don't really know what's changed, but it seems weird that that's going on like that. We should still be able to count votes. Hell, you'd think with electronics being the way they are, we'd even be better at it. So, to Biden and Trump, I don't know what to say. It's there are no heroes in this story. That's where I know this story starts. The Democrats, the Republicans, they're both abysmal in my mind. I've been a part of both, voting wise, and I feel they're both the same corrupt parties who are just worried about enforcing their own power. And that's been on vast display the past few weeks with Republicans. And their Amy Coney Barrett Supreme Court nomination. I left the Republican Party because of the radical turn of our courts under, I called myself a conservative, but not religious based. And so to see these judges and courts were making Christian based reasonings and moving us in that way towards things, it really made me uncomfortable after I had voted for G.W. Bush twice, and that was part of my initial move left. And so to have this Merrick Garland Supreme Court nomination of Obama suppression come to fruition weeks before the election, really not many people have talked about that. I'm bitter about that. And so it's that and Trump's pure incompetence on COVID that require me to have to vote for Biden this year. I don't really want to be in that position with Mr. Biden. I was thinking about it the other day, and it's kind of like Hillary's Pied Piper strategy is finally come to fruition. She, well, maybe not specifically her campaign was collaborating with media people and organizations to help prop up Trump. in the 2016 Republican primary, and in the hope that he would win. He was the most despicable in their mind, and he would be easy to beat because he was a New York skis would be about the way I would view their perception of him, and they were kind of right. They just didn't take into account that he'd have such good bullshit, and he'd win the imagination of American people for him, that guy, to be able to beat corruption. Yeah, I don't really understand that one either, but he did. I've learned a lot from Trump. So, I don't know. With COVID being what it is, it's going bad in a lot of places. Trump's made us unsafe every step of the way from the very beginning. Not being willing to promote masks, and I mean, it's fun. You know, these people talk about, oh, well, Fauci said we shouldn't wear masks, and yeah, they were saying that at the beginning because we were ill-prepared for the situation. We didn't have enough masks. They didn't know how much they were going to, per se, do, which is understandable for, different viruses are going to have different ways of, traveling, and how long are they, is it being transmitted by touch? I don't want to talk about this. I'm not the medical personnel here. It's been easy to watch from the sidelines to see that he was making us safe every step of the way. And a lot of it was by lying. A lot of it was by, in those initial press conferences where he was really starting to own that it was there in mid-March, after when the shutdowns were starting. The lies. Remember, one of the biggest one I remember is Walmart. We're going to have all the testing centers, and Google was going to have the map of all the locations, and we were just going, and it was all a big lie. And that's not conveying confidence. That's not that was nothing. That made us less safe. That had people believing that they should go get tested. And at that point in time, we had no test, or very few tests, and people shouldn't have been getting tested. And instead, that was encouraging them to get out and go to the emergency rooms and get tested, or try to get tested. At that time, they couldn't. It was all going through the State Department of Health, and you had to have certain criteria met to be able to get tested, and it made all of us less safe, and he's not stopped at any step of the way. And the biggest one being masks. Like, if you got the biggest bully pulpit in the world, put your mask on, be a man, be a grown-up. Did your mama teach you to cover your mouth when you sneezed or you coughed? Do you believe germs can be transmitted through the air when you talk? Do you ever have? This stuff isn't hard. I hope Biden wins. I'll vote for Joe Biden. Unfortunately. I'm going to vote for probably a lot of Dems this time around because there's no great options, but we got to build better options. I like what the People's Party, People's Movement, whatever they're calling themselves, that guy from the Bernie campaign, and Jimmy Dore, and I respect all those people. I've stopped spending so much time with Jimmy Dore lately, not because I have any less respect for him, but just because we don't agree with what the correct approach is right now. We still agree on where we want to move. And that's one of the important things for all of us, is to recognize that someone doesn't unbecome an ally because we don't care for where they are at right now. I don't care for where Jimmy Dore's at right now. He's my ally. He's shown himself to be a truth talker, a thinker. And so I have to look at him in these moments where I don't agree with him, and I have to intake that and reconcile that with my own beliefs, and knowing that we agree a lot, and I need to, it should encourage me to look deeper into what I'm thinking and believing. And when I do that, I become further affirmed in my need to vote for Joe Biden. So let's start figuring out how to rally this forward. We got to start taking back democracy and suppressing the corporate autocracy. Hope everybody has a good weekend. I like this, sharing some political things I have on my mind. I think I might start doing some more of this. Click in the comments if you have any feedback. Talk to you.